just a quick intro for the Shopee team today. My name is Justin. I'm the acquisition lead for Shopee Singapore. I have with me Veron today, who is our marketing solutions lead for Shopee Singapore as well. So what we'll do today, right, for my part, I think I'll just give everyone a brief introduction of how e-commerce is for Singapore today from Shopee's perspective, and also to give anyone here that might not be familiar with Shopee a brief introduction of what we do as well. Followed by Veron, who would give a very detailed explanation and run through on how can Shopee's package that is in collaboration with ESG help everyone here, especially the retailers amongst the crowd, to stand out in e-commerce and actually to open up a new online sales channel in Singapore. Okay, so I think without further ado, we'll just go into the topic of the e-commerce landscape in Singapore today. I think everyone is completely aware that in e-commerce Singapore, it is something that's growing very fast. So if we go to the next slide to have a look at how fast it's growing. So this one you've heard from us, you've heard from probably the news, you probably heard from our competitors if you're with them today. E-commerce growth is immense, it's crazy. Offline, a lot of sales are dropping with or without COVID, but online it has always been growing. So if you look at the left chart, you can see from 2015 to 2025, we are expecting the e-commerce size of Singapore to grow by almost 5 times. So this is an 18% growth each year. We're talking about over a period of 10 years. And I'm telling you, today we have 2020, our growth has already outpaced the forecast from 2015 already. So it's a huge industry. And this number, right, this 1 billion and 5.4 billion are in USD. So translating into SGD, it would be around 8 billion SGD by 2025. So this is what we're covering here. This is what Shopee is doing here. We are here to help a lot of the retailers to cover this part of the business and make sure you guys don't miss out. Okay, so this is our primary objective. And what makes Singapore so attractive, right, for e-commerce in Southeast Asia, if you look at the right side, it really is because Singaporeans spend much more on e-commerce compared to our neighbors in Southeast Asia. So Singapore, as you can see, spends 91 US dollars, which is above 120 Sing dollars as an average checkout basket size. So checkout basket size meaning you go to an e-commerce site, you know, check out this item together, on average would be above 120 Sing dollars. This is how big the basket is. This is bigger than the minimum spend for most of the grocery platforms in Singapore today. Okay, so compared to that with the other countries, Singapore has a 50 to 80% head start compared to Philippines, which is the second one, and also Malaysia. So Vietnam, as you can see, right, is around 20 USD. So which makes Singapore a very attractive country to launch e-commerce operations in general. And why are we looking at e-commerce today? Is also because e-commerce has become so much more accessible compared to what it used to be. When I compare what it used to be, right, I'm talking about probably 5 to 8 years ago. Today, what makes the big difference, right, is because everyone has a smartphone. So if you look at these two very key stats, on the left side, you can see 3 out of 5 Singaporeans, right, prefer online shopping through smartphones, as opposed to the traditional way, which is get on your laptop, get on your desktop, shop on the website. For us, shopping online becomes something that you don't do only at home. You do this, right, when you're on the train, not so much today, obviously, because everyone is working from home, but normally you are honestly shopping anywhere you are. No matter you're at work, no matter you're at home, no matter you're commuting, or you're waiting for something such as waiting your takeaway in a shopping mall, you want to see what kind of deals you can get from e-commerce platforms. And that's why people love shopping on mobile phones. And 38% of people today in Singapore have made already their first purchase on mobile phone, which is 10% higher than the global average because Singaporeans just love e-commerce shopping. And which means, right, 4 out of 10 people out there have made a purchase online through their mobile phone apps before. So from this, right, how do we kind of go into the Shopee landscape? Shopee give you guys a brief introduction, is an e-commerce platform that started in 2015. We're also the first e-commerce platform that focuses on mobile first. So what means by mobile first? Which means our primary conversion channel is our mobile phone. Today on Shopee, 9 out of 10 of our orders come from mobile phones, which verified what I said earlier about Singapore's e-commerce trend. And we're also the first one to do so in Southeast Asia. And secondly, we also have local teams in all our 7 markets in Southeast Asia to make sure that we can work with local sellers like you, and also to make sure we understand the local buyers very, very well. So if you go on Shopee today, right, in each of our markets, including Singapore, we have a lot of local content and a lot of local deals that only local buyers will really understand and only can be provided by the local sellers like you that understand the Singapore market. And if you have to give an overview of what you can sell on Shopee, right, my answer is all kinds. So understand from SCCCI, a lot of our members here today do sell food, do sell electronics. These are all covered by the Shopee's landscape. So we have from electronics to groceries, to personal care, baby needs, home and living. So your furnitures, your chairs, your stationery, dining, which means that if today you are a food seller, your F&B seller, you want to direct your traffic towards your stores to do takeaways, right? You also can on Shopee. If you sell clothes, you can also sell your fashion items on us. If you sell beauty items, right, you can also sell on us. And lastly, right, if you are selling any kind of entertainment like your video games, your puzzles, your board games, please do it on us also, because we have a huge buyer base for these kind of items on us. And lastly, from my part, to also highlight a bit who are actually the buyers on Shopee. You might or might not be a buyer on Shopee, depending on what kind of e-commerce platforms you use. For us, our buyers are very feminine. So as you see on the right side, right, we have 70% of our buyers are female, and 30% of our buyers are actually male. And they're also very young. So if you see from the right side, from the age of 18 to 35, makes up 70% of our buyers as well. So these include high school students, includes university students, includes young professionals, includes very young families as well. So if you are to curate your products towards Shopee as a platform, now I hope I've given you a good idea how we should do it as well, catering to these customers illustrated here on the slide. Anyway, from here, I'll pass on the presentation to Veron, who will give you a more detailed introduction of our ESG package.
Hi, thanks, Justin. Can you guys hear me clearly? Justin, you can, right? Okay, cool. Hi, I'm Veron. I'm from the Marketing Solutions team in Shopee Singapore. So Marketing Solutions is basically a way for sellers to get exposure on Shopee. And then I help to package these exposure points into a way that works best for the sellers. So when we put this package together with ESG, right, we basically thought, hey, for like a new seller who is coming on board as a retailer, what do they need best? So we basically created and curated this package together. So what exactly is the package? It is designed for online success and covers core activities from onboarding to advertising and promotion. And then this one, I guess you would have already heard, eligible retailers can receive a one-time 90% support of for applicable fees. And then this is essentially given by Enterprise Singapore, ESG, through Shopee. So you only basically need to pay for 10% of the fees charged. And this is on a reimbursement basis from Shopee, which means that you only pay 10%. You don't have to worry about covering at 90% and then getting it back from Shopee, getting it back from the government later. Shopee will just pay for you, and then Shopee will claim it from the government at a later point. Okay, so from the point that you come on board and use the package, you can essentially use it for the first 6 months, which is the most crucial period, right, for you to like kind of grow and scale up and see how you're going to build your business around this additional sales channel. Okay. So what we do is cover core services. What happens is we put them into 4 buckets. The first one is incubation, which is a 12-week program where you try out different Shopee features under the care of your incubation managers. So imagine the process. You're a completely new retailer. You first set up your shop on Shopee. Anyone can set up a shop. So Justin, who is our acquisitions lead, comes on and says, hi, welcome on Shopee, sets up your account. And then before you even get to someone like me, which is marketing solutions, who is the missing link in between is actually incubation. So incubation, like the name suggests, is like a mother hen, you know, who takes care of you for the first 12 weeks and teaches you, hey, this is what you do, this is what you do. You are not getting too many orders from your first week, but it's okay. The whole point about the first 12 weeks to try out, oh, this is what paid ads is, oh, this is what flash deals is, etc. So in the first 12 weeks, we already give you a lot of these assets like flash deals and paid ads that's already taken care within your 12-week program. So in a way, learn as much as you can and then do as much as you can in the first 12 weeks because you'll be under care of your incubation managers. Then sometimes during this process or sometimes after, we are also, you can also get 90% off your fees on free shipping and cashback vouchers. That's under fulfillment. And then the third component is advertising and promotions. And the last component is marketing. So I'll actually be going into detail for fulfillment and advertising promotions, because I think these are the technical parts, right? That if you don't use, or you haven't started selling on Shopee, you might feel that, oh, these words are a little bit like, what's MyAds, what's flash deals, etc. Okay, so I'm going to continue. Firstly, what you can do is to max out the government subsidy. So how this ESG e-commerce booster package works is that every seller can claim up to $9,000 per seller. So it means that you can claim as much as you spend. So if you don't want to pay $1,000, which is that 10%, you can actually choose to start in the first month and just pay $153. Okay, so this depends on your budget, right? In your first month, we recommend you spend $153. If you want and have the budget and know that you want to commit to Shopee, then go ahead and take that $1,000 package, because this means that you can claim all of that $9,000 from the government and essentially pay $1,000 and benefit from a $10,000 package. Okay, so what does this package cover? Number one, it covers the 12-week incubation program that we throw in for free. We don't even like put a price tag on that, but actually that is worth like $8,000. Fulfillment, we actually cover you for cashback and free shipping. I'll explain more later. In terms of advertising and promo, we cover you for Shopee MyAds, which is a search-based marketing within Shopee that helps people find you on Shopee. We, so far, I think, are the only platform to offer seller ads, which means that we will actually help you run ads on Facebook and social media, work with influencers, etc., to help people learn more about your shop. Okay, and then we also give you flash deal slots and Shopee livestream. I will go into detail for these components. And then the last thing is marketing. So Shopee's marketing is really very strong. Essentially, as long as you come in on board with us, we will expose you in a microsite, as well as on our social media for free. So this is actually in a native environment, right? So imagine you don't do any marketing, and then the user, any other user, comes into Shopee and sees, oh, there's a shop from home collection. Then they go in and then you actually see your products being featured there. So it's very natural. It comes from a theme. It could be support local for this project. It could be shop from home. If you are an electronics buyer, it could be an electronics sale. So these are the kind of like native and organic exposure we're talking about when we talk about marketing. Okay. Okay. So before I go into the individual components, we think about who is eligible. So the eligibility framework is crafted by Enterprise Singapore, and it essentially covers business entities that are incorporated in Singapore, have minimum 30% local shareholding, and is a SME, which means that you don't exceed more than 100 million per annum or don't have more than 200 employees. And how to sign up is basically through Shopee. Once you decide, you complete a declaration form, basically declaring that you have passed the above criteria, and then an ACRA of your business entity, and then you can start to come in for the package and start consuming it already. Retail businesses are defined as businesses registered with 47 as the first 2 digits in your ACRA SSIC. So if you don't, then a 90% support will be reviewed on a case-by-case basis, which currently, because we are already taking on these sellers, right, who are eligible, we essentially, if they're not in 47, we submit the seller's aircraft to ESG, and to be honest, they've been quite open about it. So I don't think no need to worry so much if your business doesn't start with 4.7. Okay, so now I will go into more components of what I gave just now. Essentially, to be an awesome seller on Shopee is to use all of the tools at their disposal, and this comes in these 5 items. Okay, number 1. So what is cashback and free shipping special? Cashback and free shipping special is a very unique thing to Shopee, which helps users earn coins. Basically, you buy, you use a voucher, and then you earn coins. I am going to show it to you guys now. Okay, so if you go to the Shopee page, you will see that there's something called daily 15% cashback on the home square. So if you go here, what happens is this concept of 15% applies to is the fact that if you see an item with a cashback label applied here, it means that you can use a voucher that helps you earn 10% of the fees back in coins. This for the user, okay? So what it looks like is basically this cashback label. So it means that if I buy this and I use the cashback label, I can get $25.90 back in coins, which is essentially a rebate on my next purchase. Okay, so this is unique to Shopee and has been very successful so far. It is an opt-in program, which means that sellers can choose to be part of it. If you look at the Lifebuoy example, it's basically it's the same SKU, different seller, one who has decided not to go with cashback, and then another one that goes with cashback. So you can imagine as a user over time, I will start to choose, I preferentially choose the items that have cashback and then check out so that I can benefit from the 10% cashback voucher. Okay, so it's a high performance program that's been running since July 2019. And essentially we have seen significant sales uplift to all the participating sellers. And what happens is that items of the participating sellers are eligible for a 10% cashback voucher. And not just the voucher, you are also preferentially shown in many, many collections that are meant to help us push cashback as a USP on Shopee, right? And on top of that, participating stores will gain access to free shipping, which means that you're also tagged with a free shipping label where Shopee pays for the buyer's shipping fees. So seller still pays for your shipping fees, but on the buyer's end, they see as $0 free shipping. Okay. And then we are committed to releasing these cashback vouchers to all buyers on a weekly basis. And essentially cashback vouchers give buyers additional Shopee coins. So 100 coins equals $1. Okay, so that's the concept of cashback. It's been very useful for our sellers. Okay, so the second component I want to talk about is MyAds. MyAds is pretty straightforward. It means that you, as a seller, bid on keywords, and then your products will show up higher in the search results. Okay, so if you, for example, search now for like a mask, I think you can imagine that the mask bidding prices are like slightly higher because it's so competitive right now, right? Everyone's like selling masks, everyone wants to appear higher so that more people will click and go to their store. Okay, so what it does is to show up when people search, and you can easily reach more buyers, and you only pay when you get results. So you do not need to, you are not charged when people search for it, you're only charged when people click on the thing and actually go to your store. So you're actually only charged on traffic. Okay, so what are some of the success stories with MyAds? MyAds, let me introduce the concept of like CRR here. CRR is basically the cost of your sales, right? So for example, this seller in the home and living category targeted to spend about 19% of their sales on search, right? That means on 10, let's say my item goes for $10, means I'm willing to spend $1.90 on search, right? So this is like the marketing cost, right? So they think they are okay with 19%, but what ended up happening was that it only cost them 50 cents. Yeah, so much lower than expected. And basically the campaign is used to promote the 13 bestseller SKUs, and then they use a mixture of brand and product keywords, right? So For example, if you are selling shelves, you can buy on shelves. You can buy on your own brand, like for example, House or Toyogo or City Life. Yeah, things like that that help people find your product as fast as possible. Okay. So essentially, to use MyAds, sounds complicated, but totally isn't. You choose in your back end a product that you want to advertise, and then you choose the keywords that you want to use that are relevant to you, or you can just set up simple mode, which allows it to run by itself. And then you set a bid price. So the bid prices we're talking about here, right? You might be like a little bit scared to go like, oh, but does that mean I need to spend like 19% or even 5% of my sales on this? The answer is no. We go by seara because that's like a consistent metric, but essentially most sellers are spending like $20 to $30 a month on search ads. Rather than like a lot of money. So if you're thinking about it, just $20 or $30 invested into helping your products appear higher in search results. Okay, and per time you're paying is like maybe 1 cent or 2 cents, yeah, per click. Okay, so then you essentially set your budget and duration. Maybe you only want to run this thing for like 1 month just to try it out. Then you think that maybe if it doesn't work, then I don't want to, which you can. You have full control anytime for MyAds. Okay, so this is just to understand a little bit more how do we price these things? What are the metrics you should be looking at when you look at MyAds? You look at quality score. So quality score is basically when you search for masks. Okay, let's say you bid for the keyword mask. Is your product really a mask? What if you're just a hand sanitizer brand who wanted to bid on the keyword mask because it appears together, right? So if you're not a relevant search, your bid prices will tend to be higher. Yeah, so the more relevant you are, that means the easier it is for users to find your product, the cheaper it is, essentially. Okay? Okay, next thing I will move on to MyAds. So MyAds, like I said, is a uniquely Shopee thing, and then I think it's a very exciting thing for new sellers to come into. It's essentially a managed service provided by Shopee. We don't charge an agency fee, meaning 100% of your ads budget will go into your ads. So if you see like a big brand, right, let's say your P&G and Unilever, they use big media agencies to do up their ads on Facebook, correct? And then with all this, let's say they want to spend $1,000 a month, agencies usually will take a percentage, like eat their money, right? So it could be 15%, 30%, depending on the deals that they do. And this covers the service of helping them actually set up the ads and doing the visuals, the creatives that you see on Facebook. But in Shopee, we don't, because we really want to support the new sellers who might not have such marketing resources, right? So essentially what we do is, so let's say you have bought the $1,000 package, okay? That essentially gives you $10,000 worth of value, right? You pay $1,000, but because we can claim back, that's $10,000 worth. We pull out a sum of their money and dump it entirely into Facebook ads, so that people, the users and buyers, right, know very quickly that, oh, XXX seller is actually here. The seller that I knew when I was walking past the interchange at one of the shops is actually on Shopee, right? So then they can like start to look out for your shop and go to your shop and actually check out and buy things, yeah? So what we do is we actually run dynamic product ads. So if you see on Facebook, you will see something like that. Some of you who use Facebook often might have seen this kind of e-commerce ads. So essentially, once you scroll, you can see different products in that one ad. Okay, when we say dynamic, right? Dynamic means that the products that the users are most likely to be interested in will be shown to them. So maybe when I serve, okay, let's say this is a spectacle shop. You are a spectacle shop and we run one ad from a spectacle shop. Maybe the ones that I see are only the black frames, because I have always been surfing black frames. Facebook, for some reason, knows that I like black frames. But maybe you as a user have always looked at rimless spectacles, right? So maybe you have surfed from other people like Owndays, Capital, Optical, etc. And you always look at rimless. So what you are going to see, although we are both seeing the same ad, is that different products are inside. So you can imagine, right? Like if the Facebook machine is so smart of recommending relevant products to us, the click-through rate is much higher. So dynamic ads that have far better results because it's relevant to the user. Okay, so that's what we do for you guys. And then the second thing is not just on Facebook ads, we can also get in touch with like influencers to create content. So depending on what you want to do, we can work with like one big tier influencer. So you can also use that money, right? So let's say you're selling something very exciting, maybe a new and trendy item, and you feel that this kind of thing, right, you really need someone to stand up and introduce it. You need a human to that, to mention it. You can actually do these things through Shopee. So don't need to worry if at the start you might not have like the marketing resources to support you, because we can. Okay, then the whole point of all this is essentially to drive traffic to your store so that people will buy your products, right? Okay, I have two more components. One, the fourth one is flash deals. Flash deals is a very short slide because flash deals, like the most important thing in the e-commerce space, is essentially timed deals that appear for maybe 2 hours, and it's supposed to be like the best prices. So this is actually a very good asset to use because it's very high visibility on the homepage. I think for most e-commerce sites, right, the flash deals module is like the most visited one. So you go on and then you see the best things that work on flash deals are short consideration products, which means you don't need to think for very long before you want to buy that. You buy that because the price is damn good, right? So things like phones might not work as well because you think for quite a long time on the phone, but maybe something like masks work really well now, or maybe washing detergent, things that like that basic stuff that you can just pick up anytime, right? And then a lot of our sellers also use it to showcase their loss leaders. Loss leaders are basically things that are marked so cheap, right? That's just supposed to bring you traffic, bring your shop traffic. They just mark down 1 or 2 items to like maybe 30–40% off so that they can help to bring up the whole store. Yeah, and because it's such a high visibility, you can use it as a marketing space as well. That means for some of the brands, right, they don't really care about the sales that come from the flash deals. They just keep using their flash deals every week so that users who always go there and surf start to realize that, oh, like this exciting new brand is also there. I might not buy it yet, but at least I know that it's there. Okay. And then the fifth component of Shopee Live, which is also included in the $1,000 package, right? It's basically a live stream thing. And Shopee can also support you if you don't know what to live stream. Doesn't matter, right? You just tell us what your product is, and we'll actually get a host and start to create like a half an hour, 45-minute live stream to introduce people to your product. And what we do is Shopee will also support communications. That means when you're doing your live stream, right, people who are in the Shopee app will find it very easy to find your live stream, basically, because anyone can do a live stream, but the thing is about guaranteeing views, right? Because why do you want to live stream to someone? Why do you want to go through all that and just service like maybe 20 viewers? Because what you want is like thousands of viewers, right? To make your effort worth. So Shopee can do that also. We do like dedicated push notifications and Instagram story so that people know that your live stream is happening. Okay, so what we realize is for live stream, the best kind of content, right, is like servicing. If you are aircon maintenance, like people really want to watch. It's like, oh, how is this service gonna be like done when I actually purchase it? So a good example we've been doing recently is like pets grooming. Okay, we've been getting a lot of like pets grooming service providers to come and do this thing to like live stream so that people know exactly what their pet is going to enjoy when they go for this service, when they buy the voucher and go use it at the shop, right? Yeah, so kind of like servicing, repair, life hacks, like maybe your product is a wonderful detergent and why is it better than other people? You can use it. You can use live stream to demo this, and then also like it works really well for fashion items. Like you can show that, oh, this shirt goes with this, or like jewelry, yeah, or like crystals. That's been really popular on our live stream as well. Okay, we will answer your questions, but I think now, Justin, if you want to unmute this and do it together with me, we will, before I jump into the questions, give you some FAQs first, okay? I'll just go through these 5. The thing is, so you've listened to us, you've listened about like who Shopee is, what the Shopee E-commerce Booster Package is, then what do you do next? Essentially, it's very straightforward. You email us at selleronboarding_sg@Shopee, and then we'll get in touch with you. We'll send you more details on these packages, help you understand. then let you know, oh, this component you can do this component you can do that, right? Like essentially just touch base with us. If you know about Shopee and want to try Shopee out, just get in touch with us. Then the second thing is, because we do want you to maximize government support, even though this component is not directly under us, we also want to mention it. You might have a pain point, right? Which is, oh, I want to sell online, but I don't have people to help me. What can I do? Essentially, Enterprise Singapore is also providing subsidies for manpower. So retailers who are on board, that means you come on board with Shopee and do this, you can apply for Enterprise Development Grant, where ESG will pay for 3 workers or existing workers directly involved in this project. So you can claim up to 90% of their pay for a period of 3 months. Yeah. So if you are thinking of like hiring more people or converting some of your offline people to helping you sell online, you can actually claim their wages back. But do note, this is not like they give you an advance. You might need to prep the cash flows required for this because this is on a claim basis. Yeah. This one you don't need to go through Shopee at all. Go through ESG using the, I think, Business Development Grant Portal or something like that. Yeah. Okay. Then the third thing is you might say, oh, I'm not an SME, which means I have more than 100 million turnover or more than 200 employees. So what can I do if I want this? This is not publicly available, but we know that ESG is also allowing non-SMEs to benefit from this grant subject to approval. So, however, for non-SMEs, right, they only subsidize you up to 70%, which means that your package is going to cost 3,000 instead of 1,000. Okay, if you opt for the bigger package, you pay for 30% instead of 10%, right? So this one, same process, just like submit your application to us via that email to be considered, okay? Then the fourth FAQ is, what if I'm not a retail business? My ACRA doesn't start with the digits 47. Like I said earlier, so far it's been on a case-by-case basis and ESG has been quite kind. So still do write with us to help you submit your ACRA details and then let ESG vet through, and then we'll update you on whether you're eligible or not. Okay, and then the fifth question I'm going to leave to Justin about starting the e-commerce further.
Sure. So I think for the fifth question, it would be if any one of you out there, right, is already doing e-commerce and you want to step up and be a bit more savvy in terms of operating on multiple platforms, what do we recommend you to do? For our side, right, we recommend you to engage what we call an e-commerce enabler. So enabler essentially help you optimize your inventory and your digital marketing budget, amongst many other things. Depends who you engage. But luckily, at the moment, ESG also has a program with different enablers called the Multi-Channel E-commerce Program, MEP. So Shopee also partners with some of these enablers on the program. If you are interested in learning more about what can enablers provide you at what kind of cost, you can also feel free to email us on the FAQ one there, the email address, the same. Our consultants can reach out to you and give you some background information before referring you to any of these enablers for a free consultation as well, if you wish to. Okay, so I think this should wrap up our session in terms of FAQ today. We should be open to the floor to take any kind of questions. I think. To address some of your concerns.
Like 31 questions already submitted via Q&A. So I think we're gonna chug along and hack at them, right? One by one.
We'll try our best.
Yep. Okay. So, hey, thanks, Justin and Veron for sharing so much about the Shopee platform. So I think most of them will actually get a brief idea of what it's about. A lot of them have been asking for the slides to be shared with them so that they can actually digest further. So I think for that, I think we're actually top. So you're open to share the slides. So we'll do that after the webinar session. So I think there's a lot of questions actually. So I'm afraid that we don't have time, much time. There's actually 33 in total and some in the other chats. So officially on Q&A, we are registering about 33 questions. So I think in the interest of time, we'll just go through 4 over here. So the other questions, I'll probably need to relay them over to you. Then you can probably answer them and we can just put it inside the deck before we actually disseminate out to the audience, okay? Yeah, sure. So for the first question, right, so it's on the screen here. We are a publishing company. Can we sell children books? Then would Shopee help our company to do advertising to draw traffic to our items? So Veron or
Okay.
Justin, you want to take it up?
I think I'll take this. We are actually very happy to hear from you. We are looking for more book publishers to sell on Shopee today. So especially children books, because children books are one of the best selling items on Shopee. And I'll tell you why, because Shopee has a lot of young mothers shopping on us, and they love to buy different kids and babies items for their children. And in terms of how we can help you advertise your products, once you list on Shopee, right, the ESG grant actually helps draw a lot of traffic from external, which is Facebook, Google, and also internal, which is within our Shopee app, to get these buyers or potential buyers to go see your items. So I think for this one, I'll relate to Veron to explain a bit more what are the brief parameters of doing this.
Yeah. So actually, I explained earlier, right? We do have seller ads that you can use your grants on. Essentially, this goes entirely onto Facebook and Instagram. So the answer is yes. If you want to pay for it, we definitely do the dedicated ones for you. If not, right, on a baseline level, Shopee already does it. That means if now you go onto Google, you go and search like anything, you actually see like, oh, there's a Shopee listing. So this kind of like baseline, right? We spend a lot of our online marketing money on the baseline. That means regardless of whether you pay or not, we support all our sellers. So the answer is yes, we do. Yeah. Okay, maybe next question.
Okay, just to add on to this, Veron, okay,
Sure.
because now we're talking about drawing traffic, right? So I believe that a lot of the SMEs may be already embarking on, let's say, Google AdWords or stuff. So we can see that you have a separate advertising avenue inside the individual platforms. So with Google AdWords and everything, is it still necessary to continue actually?
I think yes, as in anything that drives traffic helps. But if you're about to embark on a huge Google AdWords campaign, right, what we can do is to sync up a little bit and then not cannibalize each other. Because basically, the more people are bidding for those keywords, the more expensive it's going to be, right? Because it's bid based. So yeah, I think as long as you come on board, let our incubation managers know, then we can work with this. Yeah. The answer is yes, definitely do it. Definitely don't stop yourself from doing it. But we can maybe sync up and see how we can help each other more. Yeah.
Okay, sure. Let's take a look at the second question. Okay, so for the second questions, right, I'm also a bit curious about the incubation program, because I think for a lot of the traditional retailers, right, their main issue has always been I do not know how to do it. I lack of the manpower to do it. So I think everybody is just a bit curious about, hey, how is the 12-week incubation program going to be run? Is it face-to-face or is it mainly self-learning online actually? Yeah.
Okay.
Justin.
Sure. Let me take this one also. For incubation program, actually, it is conducted somewhere between face-to-face and self-learning. So for us, we do conduct phone calls and regular checkups from dedicated incubation managers. So it's not really self-learning in that sense. We won't show you a bunch of materials and ask you to go read it yourself. For us, the 12-week incubation is structured in 3 different phases, where our incubation managers handholds you to try out different things on Shopee, from listing of items to shipping out your first orders to running your first flash deals to trying out some of these marketing features that Veron told you about, which probably you do find very complex, such as MyAds, such as seller ads, such as livestream. Our incubation managers help you orchestrate and organize you to try out these features before the 12-week incubation program ends. I hope this answers the question. If there's anything Veron wants to add. Okay.
Okay, so thank you for taking the question. So let's move on to the next one. Okay, so I think for all platforms, right, I think one of the key things that a lot of the buyers will be saying, hey, am I actually going to a place whereby I don't need to fight for competition? People are actively searching for the products. So I think that's where we have this question: what are your most popular product categories actually? Then relating to that, right, there are a lot of them saying that can they actually sell the products to worldwide market by Shopee, and specifically using this grant, because I think this grant is specifically looking at the local e-com. So if let's say they do it for overseas market, is this still eligible actually?
Okay, so I think I'll share a bit on the first question, which is the product categories for Shopee. our three best product categories are fashion, health and beauty, and also toy, kids and babies. And the ones that are doing the best at this moment in time definitely is food and also FMCG. So food is the one that sees the biggest growth in terms of our sales through this period. So this one I think everyone would understand. In terms of whether you can sell your products to worldwide market, right, using this grant, actually the answer is no. So if you would like to sell to other markets at this time, you would want to engage an enabler because they would be able to do this for you. And when they do this for you, right, they can also utilize government subsidy to do it for you. The eligibility for what I just mentioned, which is the MEP grants, with these enablers are very similar to our grant as well. So as long as you're an SME with Singaporean shareholding, you should be able to partake in this kind of grant with the enablers. So if you do want to learn further about this, you can reach out directly to enabler or through us. It's also fine. So we can give you a bit more information before you embark on the inquiry for selling overseas, which I must say is more complicated due to import taxes and also shipping fees as well, but definitely worth exploring.
Okay, thank you, Justin, for taking out the question. Just to add a bit on the MEP side, right? I think this is a series where SCCCI is actually doing on the local scene, specifically touching on the ESG e-commerce booster package. So after we have covered the platforms, right, we will actually be doing one session on the MEP as well.
Oh, that's great.
If you cannot wait, please go to Justin. If you can wait a bit for us to come up with the webinar, stay tuned. You'll be coming up soon, actually. So I think we are running a bit out of time. So let's go to the last question. Okay, so I think this is the one that is the $1 million question. I think everybody will be thinking. I mean, with all the platforms and everything. So I think for Shopee side, right, are you able to highlight some key differentiator in terms of the booster package for SMEs who are tight on the cash flow? I mean, I think one of the key thing is they do not know whether when it comes to the subsidies, right, is it the same across the platforms or there's some particular difference? If it's the same, right, then it's more to the how you play within the platform. But is there going to be anything different, or is just going to be advertising, delivery, and loading our SKU or whatever? Probably can have the address.
Right. Yeah, I understand. This is like a great question because if I were a seller, I also want the answer to this question. The answer is we operate similarly across the 4 buckets. Remember the 4 buckets was kind of like onboarding, fulfillment, advertising, and marketing, right? So all the platforms were told to spread out our things across these 4 buckets, right? So that you guys can understand it better. Then in terms of being tight on cash flow or not, I think everyone is going to do the claim basis, which means our sellers are not going to have to pay 100% and then claim it back from the government. It's all on the platform's job to claim it back. Okay, so in terms of cash flow, I don't know if that answers your question, but then in terms of the key differentiator between Shopee and others, right, I will highlight 2 things. One is cashback, actually 3 things. One is cashback special, one is the seller ads that we do, and then the third thing is the strong incubation package coverage, right, the 3 things. So the first one is remember this coins back thing, which is essentially you come on board as a new seller. Because this cashback concept, right, is very good at exposing new sellers who initially don't have a lot of organic orders and getting them a lot of quick exposure because people are actively looking for cashback to check out with, right? So this is like completely unique to Shopee, right? The second thing is seller ads. Other platforms are not going to help you run external traffic boosters like Facebook, Instagram, and like influencers, okay? So these 2 components I know they confirm don't have. Then the third thing is our incubation program, right? From what I understand from sellers, is like among the best. A lot of good comments on it because of the hand holding that we do and because of the lot of initial boosters like free paid ads, free MyAds, free flash deals, etc. So that's going to be the one that's like fastest in terms of getting you up and running. Okay, so I cannot really speak for the other platforms, but I know that these 3 components are really strong. So if you are a seller who's interested in these 3 components, right, then Shopee will be a great choice. Okay, yeah.
Justin, anything to add on?
I think Veron explained quite well. I think at the end of the day, for the government subsidy, it is quite equally spread out for the 4 platforms. I think for the cash type SMEs out there, what you probably want to consider is how to utilize your investment in the best way possible, because each of these platforms offer different a la carte packages. So maybe you want to look out for the platform that can give you the best effect in terms of your investment, because we also conduct our marketing a bit differently. So this kind of goes down to what kind of product categories you have and what kind of scale you are at as well.
Okay, so thank you, Justin and Veron. Thank you once again for joining us in today's webinar session. So we've also prepared a survey form. So I think thanks everybody for attending today's session. So I think please do us help to give us some feedback, so that at least from Shopee side, right, we can actually relay some of this feedback to them, so that they can. So I think if there's a need to, right, based on the feedback, we can actually see what kind of sessions we can actually run together with Shopee as well as the other platforms as well. So with that, we end today's session. I'd like to thank Justin and Veron again, as well as the attendees. Thank you so much for joining us.